Hello, survivors! Welcome to Soulstone Survivors. We are running the Legionnaire. We are in endless. We're on endless mode. We're only on cycle 1, but this can be pushed quite far. This build. Today we are running quite a tanky Legionnaire build that specializes in burning enemies and then having incinerating spear deal the huge amounts of instant burn at 380% of their damage. But obviously that 380% can actually get increased over time. The more damage modifiers you get on it, the higher and higher that percentage gets as well. Now we are quite tanky because we get shield wall and exorcism as well, and then we grab the storm of spears and avalanche to help apply a lot of the spontaneous combustions, the burns, as well as the misfortunes embrace for the negative effects. So very strong build. And the reason we do endless cycle instead of overlord is for our ascension, so that we are able to have our catapults throwing these massive burning boulders at enemies, reducing their armor even further for us. So endless just allows you to build your ascension up and be that little bit stronger, whereas overlord you have no time to really build your ascension, and so you're losing quite a bit of damage. Now the runes we're running are actually going to be war tank, misfortunes embrace, holy skill mastery holy, executioner, and multicast mastery. These are going to help us get all the skills that we need, as well as increase our damage. So let's show you what the actual run is like in an overlord cycle. I haven't tested how far it can go. You guys are more than happy to do that, but you can see we're going to be just completely destroying everything. Now what we do, especially for our ascension, is we are going to go chill in the corner of the maps, just to help the run go that little bit faster. You know, we want to spawn the enemies as quick as possible. We want to kill them as quickly as possible as well. So grouping them in a corner is always the best strategy. And what we do is we then pick up all of the dropped cogs, and then as soon as we have enough, so 17 out of 20, we're going to run to one of the catapults and build it as quickly as possible, and then get back to the corner. Now, War Tank removes one of our dashes. That's why we only have one dash on our character. That's okay, we don't need more dashes than that. We only need the one dash, and what that's going to do is that's going to give us 50% more block power. So every time you pick up block power, a good example, once we find some block power, let's just assume this was block. It says block power by 16. What you do is you actually plus 50% onto that, so it would give you 24 block power instead of 16. So very strong rune to have, but the minus is you don't get your dash, which you know you can actually get via passives anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. Once you find the sprint passive, just take it and you'll be back up at 2 dashes. Because you lack one of the dashes, I do suggest getting yourself a decent amount of movement speed, because otherwise you will be really slow, and then when you get to even higher overlord cycles you will really struggle there as well. So we're on 17 points over here now, so we're gonna go and make one of the catapults. There's one right there. That's beautiful, and we actually have our auto targeting on in the game, so we have auto aim on. I've just been lazy the last couple of days and decided to play with it on, just because I can. There's no other real reason for it. So if you're wondering, you know, broken, why is your mouse not moving? It's because I'm actually playing with one hand. You know, quite a chilled little play style where we play with one hand and we don't really have to worry about where our mouse is. We're just using our keyboard to move. Obviously I move my mouse as soon as we get to you know, opportunities like this. So we don't need damage on exorcism. It doesn't change the amount of healing we get from it. We're not worried about its damage, we're only using it for healing. So we're going to grab the movement speed over here, and then we're going to look for incinerate. Ooh, okay, so there, sorry, I thought that was piercing flame. I really think they should change the way they work, the way that they worded. I think this one should be incinerating flame spear, and this one should be piercing flame. But anyway, the point is we don't actually want cast frequency on this one. You can see we've now moved down to 1.9 seconds. That was really silly of me. Don't do that, guys. That's bad. Do not do that. You want to banish that cast frequency because you don't want to have the low cast frequency on your incinerating spear. So try not do what I just did. Make sure you banish that cast frequency on the incinerating spear. Obviously you will get cast frequency on it because of relentless, and that's fine, but you don't want to reduce it so low that you're using it often enough to get rid of the burn stacks and the melting stacks before they are very impactful. And because it requires a lot of stacking, we do grab as many spontaneous combustions as possible, or whenever we see it fit getting it. So let's say we get just 3 common upgrades and one of them spontaneous combustion, you're always going to grab the spontaneous combustion. Or if there's a couple of rares that are really good that you want to get, then you grab those instead. But otherwise you're always going to look at grabbing spontaneous combustions. Unfortunately there aren't any over here. We are 95% crit, so we should be good there. We're not worried about the area of effect there too much. We want to banish this before we make the same mistake again, and then we can grab the laugh over there as well. Some really good ones to look out for passives is going to be exposed weakness. That's going to be a huge one because of the burn stacking, and then things like doom today, so impending doom. I think desperation would be good then as well. If you landed up getting your doom to dazed, then getting your dazed to burn is going to be very, very strong as well. We do have misfortune's embrace for the negative effects though as well, so we're not too worried about that. And we've also got storm of spears as well as avalanche to kind of help us stack as many burns as possible. So that's pretty much the build. We just finished building one of the catapults, killed the bosses, came back to where we were standing, and we already had enough cogs to build the next catapult. Now the nice thing about the catapults is even though they are there in the center of the map, they do shoot map wide. And we're also playing on 45 curse intensity. You can do this with the ghost. I've just decided to leave the ghost off just for the sake of me being able to not worry about it too much. And if you want to, you can play with it on the higher curse intensity. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing in this build that really means, oh no, you have to be worried about the ghost, because your catapults are actually invulnerable. There is nothing in the game that can kill them or hurt them, so the ghost isn't going to go and one-shot them, and you don't have to worry about that either. So, very, very good to grab yourself that in the game and get those void essence if you need them. But for me, just a lot easier and smoother to not really worry about it for the sake of, my sanity and the video. Alright, so we are now on the third set of bosses, and you can see, Alexi the Plague Bearer, every so often their life just gets like chunked down. That is because of the incinerating spear. It just deals so much damage. It's so good to see, and I really haven't liked these skills in the past, but thinking about the Legionnaire and how to stack them, and now also having Misfortune's Embrace, and just especially for endless cycles, I would say. I don't know about Overlord, but definitely high-end endless cycles, they are very, very strong. So Purging Slam, Incinerating Spear, as well as Reap are going to be really, really fantastic skills to use on those high-end endless cycles. I mean, they could be very, very good for Overlord as well, but specifically this build is meant for endless because of the ascension on the Legionnaire. It just makes sense. Alright, so there's more block power. We will take a look at the block power a little bit later. Maybe near the end we can see, oh, okay, we did that amount of blocking. That is massive. And we'll look at, you're going to just take away 50% of that, and you can see what the big difference is between, having it and maybe not having it would have been. So you'll see whether that ruin is actually worth it or not, but I really, really do think it is worth it. As you can see, we got enough movement speed and defenses to not even have to have more than one dash. So dash isn't really king. I think movement speed is 100 times more effective. You can see we're taking a little bit of damage, but we do heal it back up again with the exorcism there already. We just healed 426, which is a huge amount. The boss is actually I thought he was alive there still because his silhouette was still there, but he was actually dead, and I never even realized that. And we've got the 5th and final catapult up and running now. So very, very strong build. We're going to take a look. Man, I really would have liked Desperation. It would have been really, really good to have got it, but we never even got the Impending Doom. I don't actually have a Fateful Strike here either, which is the Doom, chance to Doom on hit. So, I mean, that could be a reason we don't have a... I do actually have a Hypothermia. We were lucky enough to get one quite early in the run. So we got a Hypothermia. We don't have the Impending Doom. So as you get further into the run or into the cycles, looking for the Impending Doom, looking for the Desperation afterwards for even more burn stacking will be really, really, really strong, especially when you get further into the run. And then... yeah, so that's pretty much the build. We are pretty much done here. The last bosses are about to spawn as well, which is fantastic. There we go. And let's see how quickly we can kill them. I mean, we can just stand here. We blocked that attack as well, or we landed up being hit in the air, so we didn't land up getting hit anyway, which is perfectly fine by us. There we go. She's dead. We use Storm of Spears and Avalanche to kind of wreck the bosses, apply as many negative effects as possible. We do get that juicy hemorrhage on the bosses as well, which makes it so that if we're running around them, as long as they are moving, they're going to be taking extra bleed damage, which is perfect. And there you go, done and dusted with the cycle too. So really, really fast. I mean, it's not hugely fast. 25 minutes is actually pretty slow, but it is a very comfortable skill and very comfortable run. So we'll take a look at what our block was as well now, and we'll see whether or not War Tank is worth it. So our block chance was on 77.2%. If we had to take 50% of that away, we would only be on 200 block chance. So we did get an increase. We would be on 300% block chance over here, because if we on like 300% plus 150 would have been 450. So just over or just under 300 block power is what we would have been on, and that's around like 60%, I think. So we get quite a lot of block chance over there, and our armor, if we include our 400 from our shield wall, would have given us a lot of damage reduction as well. And you can see the Incinerating Spear dealing a huge amount of damage there as well, and we didn't even have it for as long as some of the other skills. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and always remember, keep safe survivors. Until next time, cheers.